Hello, my beautiful friends. This is your friend Kevin coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina, with my friend. Oops, there he is, Freddie the Teddy. And this is Friday, the 30th of December, 2022, and this is your card of the day. All right, so let's get started. We are again using Fairy Tarot cards by Radley Valentine, illustrations by Howard David Johnson. And I really want to say thank you. I pick up cards and there's always this feeling that you're not really sure what you're talking about or what comes through. But I'm getting more and more confident that it doesn't necessarily matter what deck you use or what oracle you use. The energy, the information, the messages is coming from a pure space. So let's get on with my little shuffle. Father in the sky, Mother in the earth, angels, ancestors, and ascended ones, thank you for revealing to me what I need to know and trusting me with today's message. I ask that this message be one of healing, one of hope, one of love. Well, I'm not so sure. Let's put that over there. One of gratitude. So be it, so shall it be. So I'm going to just give one more little. This seems a bit awkward, but that's okay. Let's move that out of the way. So the Queen of Winter twisted. It's not necessarily a jumping card, but when they twist like that during a shuffle, I stop briefly. Do you want to be seen? And usually the answer is either yes or it's a mistake. If it's a mistake, I put it back in. If it's a yes. So the Queen of Winter, strong, patient, self-sufficient, funny. Today, really, let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Oh my goodness, that was for me. Now is the time to focus on your career. Unmarried or divorced individuals. How do you focus on unmarried or divorced individuals? That does make sense. But I'm going to go with it because I have a funny feeling the Queen of Winter today has something to say with regard to the next card that's coming up. And since I haven't pulled it, this is what they're telling me. It's the Seven of Autumn. Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Now, this seems very personal. And they always are personal to me. But then I read your comments underneath the videos and I see that, personal for you too. That makes me see we are the power of one great force, all linked in together, learning the same thing. Let me get that out of the way. So we've got the Queen of Winter who is driving today's energy. She is speaking about our desire or our intention to be strong, to be patient, to move towards self-sufficiency, but add some humor to it, the part of being funny. What I know for sure is that humor, making people laugh, is raising the vibration up. Because right now we're in a culture where there's very little that people find funny. It's part about letting go of people or things that no longer serve you. It's the end of the year. No secret that we are working on resolutions. I don't do them. I do them on a regular basis because it's a lot easier than doing it in one go. Now, the Seven of Autumn. 7 is the number that you're on the right path and there's nothing that can stand in your way when the number 7 comes up. Autumn, and I love this card. Oh, I got goosebumps. So here we go. Somebody psychic who's part of my little spiritual group is showing up. We have got this, what I can only describe as some kind of monarch butterfly fairy. A butterfly fairy. Let me see if I can get this closer to the camera. These images are phenomenal. So here we've got this monarch butterfly fairy sitting on top of a pumpkin that is basically trying to consume this little lad, and he's thinking. So it's talking about have patience and don't worry. Take time to rest and plan your next steps. A prudent investment of time or money? Well, we're all in this vortex now, if you study astrology, where Mars is unattainable out there and not likely to roll back in until probably the spring. And then we've got Mercury retrograde that perhaps yesterday, day before, went still, stopped, stationary, and now has gone retrograde. Now, there's an awful lot of folks out there that believe that Mercury retrograde creates mayhem and madness. No, not so much. I completely disagree. For me, what it has done, it's had me looking at some of my habits, looking at some of my shadow habits. What I like about Mercury retrograde is that the time that we have, which is normally in forward motion, where we go from one communication to the next, to the next, to the next, does actually take a bit of a pause, a little bit of a lull. And during that lull, if we are willing to grow, which if we're not growing, what we're doing, we're dying, and we're basically filling up with dis-ease. Not to go there for people who are suffering, but there is a level of suffering. Growth isn't suffering. Growth is challenging. There's a difference. Staying still, being bored, being sedentary, being, I don't know, complacent, all of those things leads to dissatisfaction. Whereas growth becomes a challenge. It's the thing that lights us up, frustrates us, but still it's a striving for something else. All right, so these two together. The Seven of Autumn is saying, stay where you are, stay on the life path, keep going, but you've got to be patient. You know, when we study the law of attraction and they talk about seeing, feeling, believing what you want to have happen and seeing it, we want to have that instant gratification. Well, it doesn't really work like that because it does involve a lot more cogs. The key is to remain in the feeling of having it. What tends to happen is things begin to line up to bring it in towards us, to bring it into fruition. And if we keep obsessing about how we've not got it, it keeps on pushing the pause button and not bringing it to us, if that makes sense. Now, what the Queen of Winter's influence over the Seven of Autumn is, winter is of that mental mind, the thinking, the ideas. And it's basically saying, you've got some strong ideas, be patient, and try to figure out a way that you're able to do this kind of with a little bit of self-sufficiency. Do you have to rely on others, or can you lead this thing? The part that really lands with me is let go of people or things that no longer serve you. You know, in growth, whether we're moving towards spiritual growth, physical growth, health growth, when we're making these changes, there are going to be some folks that are making their own changes. And sometimes the folks that we know in our lives that are making their own changes don't align with the changes that we're making. Because of our culture and because of our teachings, there's something awkward about that. We're taught that unless it's our way, it's not right. Unless it's the way, unless they're agreeing with what we want, they're wrong. Well, that's also a load of hogwash. So I think that perhaps it is a question for today to use the strength that you've got to align with your mission and anchor into the feeling of your purpose. Claim abundance and freedom. Do those affirmations. Say things like everything that you create will be blessed. Work from the energy of that love is your compass needle, and that love and light is your vibration, peace is your portion. All of these things are talking to strength, talking to patience, talking to self-sufficiency. And at some point, you might even want to get into that poetry, that thing about rhyming. But I am going to read what the Seven of Autumn says real quickly and see if we can get to your own, because listening to me give you my message of it doesn't make it your message. It also makes it, well, it could be something else that's going on. You know what I'm saying? You might get a hit from it. And listen, if you get a hit and you get a little psychic message, drop right down underneath this video and write a comment, because I get so much from it, and I'm sure others do. All right, so 7 of Autumn. The best treasures in life often take a while to mature. Don't stop believing. Just as the fruit ripens on the vine, your plans may seem to be moving slowly, but the pace is quicker than you realize. Be patient. Soon your harvest will come in, and you'll see the success. You'll see how successful you've actually been. So as you wait for your goals to come to fruition, it's a good time to ponder your progress. Note the improvements you've made, the adjustments you need to make to your plan, and you might get to do more plans coming up. So in this picture, a young farmer fairy awaits patiently for the crop to mature. In the meantime, he contemplates how to occupy his time until this particular harvest. Well, now I'm going to go read the Queen of Winter, because I love the nurturing energy that she has. So the Queen of Winter has been sent. Let me start again. The Queen of Winter has seen it all. She's experienced many difficulties during her lifetime and has only grown stronger in the process. She knows exactly what to do, even if you have no idea. And she can point you in the right direction with a flick of a wrist and a knowing glimmer in her eye. Even though this queen has seen more than a fair share of life's challenges, it has only strengthened her resolve. So she takes everything with a grain of salt. She has amazing patience and an easy way about her. She's also hysterically funny. Because of her vast and diverse experience, she long ago released anyone and anything. Oh, this is so personal. That provided more drama than joy in her life. Oh, goodness, I'm going to have to share my story now. This has earned her the nickname Garage Sale Queen. Probably not something you should say to her face, though. She's often single and doesn't suffer fools easily. With her ready wit and intelligence, she can put you in your place and you won't even know it's happened. The Queen sits in an icy solitude. She's not only comfortable being alone, but happy with the elegant prosperity her experience has won her. Thank you for indulging me and let me read those two little descriptions. You know, I love bringing my own element to what these two cards together, because I think that's poignant, but I also like digging into the descriptions, because then you get sort of a fourth dimensional element. You can kind of see, well, hang on, why were these created? Why are these queens and these fairies here? Fairies, as I've said before, they're of the earth type of energy. They work with how we do. Fairies, pixies, gnomes, all of those magical creatures are between us, the physical, in this physical form, and the angelic realm. I got to share this. I got a revelation recently that somebody I personally had an interest in perhaps isn't quite as interesting, and what I learned about that is, I have a tendency to be a bit of a rescuer. And the harsh reality, as I'm on my angel walk yesterday, was it isn't a problem. You did what your heart told you to do. You followed your heart. You followed your intent. You followed your devotion to have somebody else have a better experience than they would normally have had. You know, there's this awkwardness of having to sort of withdraw it or say, you know, this has been a bit much. You've turned the corner. And that was my revelation yesterday. I turned the corner on, I think this is getting to be a little bit like taken advantage of. When those kind of notions happen, they come from spirit. It isn't cruel. It isn't unkind. It isn't selfish. It's just a revelation to dig into your strengths. Now, with these two cards, it could be have patience and see what happens. The fruits of your labors, you might just be surprised. I'm open to that. The other part of it, the Queen of Winter's basically said, oh, no, sister boy. You cannot be that silly and that daft and that crazy. This is history repeating itself, and you need to stop this crap. get back on your sleigh, fly out to wherever you're going, and then, land on somebody else's cabbage patch. That's kind of sort of somewhere in between. Standing up for myself, claiming my power, using this fabulous Queen of Winter, who, let me tell you something, she's sort of like, I don't know, she's just kind of like that crazy, cranky aunt that just tells you as it is, but doesn't do it in hate or disgust. She just does it in quite matter of fact. And that's usually who I am. Very matter of fact. Matters of the heart, matters that pull on my compassionate strings. Oh, has me wanting to rescue, go off to the pound and get these bedraggled puppies. Anyway, I'm going on and on and on. You got some stuff to do, I'm sure. I love you. Your comments, your subscriptions, all this stuff is phenomenal. Until tomorrow, last day of the year, have a great one. Bye.